Hello everyone and welcome to Briefings for the Descent. I'm Ken Oswald and this is Jonathan Barrick, and we are coming at you today to talk RPGs. Once again, that's what Briefings for the Descent is all about.
RPGs.
Everything RPGs, that stuff that we love, the products that help you facilitate it.
So good.
So let me ask you something, J-Bar. I know you've been playing some games recently.
I love it.
And I know you game master a little, but you really like playing, right?
I love playing.
Right? So what kind of characters have you been playing recently? Tell us what really inspires you on character design, and what do you look to play in a game? Does that vary depending on your RPG?
Honestly, most of my characters are fairly similar outside of a handful. I typically play, if we're talking about just D&D, for instance, I usually play a cleric or paladin. I like playing martial classes. I like playing divine casters. And every now and again, I'll branch out and play a wizard. That's if I really want to test my mettle.
That is definitely stepping out.
That is definitely...
Those other two.
Yes, it's definitely stepping out. Most recently, though, I had a buddy start up a campaign that he DM'd for me and some other buddies like a year ago, but life happens and we had to stop.
Yeah,
So,
as it does.
Yes.
This is the struggle.
Yes. And recently, decided I could finally join up with them, and I made a sorcerer, and part of his backstory was that his family has a curse placed upon them, where the first male dies at the age of 47.
Wow. Heard this somewhere before.
I know, right? I know, right? Yes. I borrowed it from somewhere. So, yes. Part of my character's motivation for at least being with the adventuring group is to figure out how to stop it.
Yeah.
Well, another part of it is his father, who is 45, has went over to like this new world kind of thing and is trying to find ways to stop it while...
Because nobody wants to die.
Yeah, no one wants to die. So me, the son, is looking for my dad to help him, find a way to stop the family curse.
Yeah.
So,
this kind of goes back to what we were talking about. I think it was last episode where we're borrowing from stuff.
yeah, borrowing from stuff.
Taking inspiration from things, and that's a great example of here's something that I read or saw on TV. I want to put it in my background.
Yeah.
Run with it. And
It adds interesting drama for the game to create.
Absolutely. I do enjoy that stuff. So, to that end, we've got some nice accessories for your RPG games today. This is the Forged Dice GM screen and Hexer's fold-out game board. Now, I like these two products together for a very specific reason. These are dry erase, wet erase materials that allow you to custom your game, right? So we're all familiar with the rollout vinyl game mats, but what's great about Hexer's product is this is a game board, not just a mat. So it lays flat, it's fold up. This particular set is 2 pieces.
Yes, yours is 2 pieces.
Right.
Mine is 1.
Yours is. But yours is a GM screen, right?
Yes.
So these fold out easily as big as the larger game mats that are out on the market. And as you can see, they are both hexes as well as your square grid. And again, if you've ever rolled up your game mat and then kept it put away for a month because you had stuff to do, and then you get back to gaming, and it's all about you running it, and you roll it out, and it curls right back up.
Yeah.
And you struggle with it, right? You wind up putting glasses of water on the sides and knocking stuff over, and it gets a little chaotic. These guys don't do that.
Yeah, they're folded up.
Because roll-up mats are frequently vinyl, you can't use dry erase on them. These, you can use wet erase, dry erase. I mean, technically, if you wanted to, you could use permanent marker on it and do that trick where you draw on top of the line with a dry erase marker and takes it off. Yep. So these are just fantastic products. I really enjoyed mine. I got a lot more use out of it than I thought I would. I originally got mine because I'm working on a board game and I just wanted to play around with the board game design.
Yeah.
But then I got caught one day, and I couldn't find my roll of mat. And this saved the day, and I've been using it ever since. So
that's excellent.
good stuff.
Yeah, I like the GM screen because it also has this really nice scroll texture.
Very, very similar. This is the Forged Dice GM screen, and the great thing. So I love this product. Again, just like Hexer's product, it is wet erase, dry erase. You've got the grid facing the player's side of things. So you can actually draw pertinent information. I just used this last night in my 5e game, and people kept forgetting that we had a wild magic sorcerer in our game, and they kept forgetting to roll their mercurial effects, right? So I just wrote on the outside of the screen, hey, when you cast a spell with wild magic, roll your effect. Roll dice. And at the same time, we got into really big combat, and I wound up tracking all my creatures and their hit points right here on the inside of the screen. It was great. The other thing, especially if you're playing D20 games where you're tracking initiative, not all RPGs do that, believe it or not, but most do. So this set, the GM screen, also includes these clips and these wet erase, dry erase laminated cards. This
awesome.
Really good quality.
Yeah.
They give you a little set of dry erase markers, and these are utilitarian. You can definitely go to Walmart and get additional replacements and other erasers for it, but these will definitely serve the purpose. But like for initiative, what I've been doing in games is I'll put there's J-Bar, he got a 19, Ken got a 12, and then Jacob. I don't know who Jacob is, but Jacob, you really didn't roll well for your initiative, bud. So you only got a 9. So then when we go to the top of the initiative, like we clip this on the screen, you've got your little card, you just insert it right into the top, and one and done. And then you just keep playing, and you cycle through your initiatives, and I love it.
Yeah,
I just absolutely love these.
It's definitely got some nice utility to it.
Yeah. There's so many other products that do this kind of same thing. We'll do some more of these in the future. But it has been good stuff. I've enjoyed it a lot. Is there a particular thing that you've enjoyed playing with recently? Like you bought something new and you were like, "Oh, this is incredibly exciting. I'm just going to bring it to Bftd and talk about it."
Okay, I'll be completely honest with you. I bought a dice tray.
Oh, I
bought a dice tray.
That's
6 months ago.
practically a mat tube for Magic.
Yeah.
Sorry, Magic players.
I bought a dice tray, and I literally bring it everywhere. If I play a board game that uses dice, I use it for that. After using it for the first time, I just fell in love. It's perfect.
Yeah, I kind of want one myself. I haven't done that, and the big reason for that, which comes up in a future episode of BFTD, I got these swanky new dice. It's definitely going to need a dice tray. Anyway, neither here nor there.
Guys, yeah.
So let's get into, we got a little bit of time on here and talk about, we got Wizards of the Coast coming out with a new product pretty soon.
Oh yeah, I saw
Saltmarsh.
Yes, I remember saying something about that.
Everyone's excited about this. The eternal question, of course, is what campaign is it actually for? Because originally this is Greyhawk kind of stuff. The kind of default setting for 5e is Forgotten Realms.
Yes.
And I say kind of, because if you look at the titles of books and the material in them, there's a lot of old school.
A little bit of everything.
In that, right.
Yeah.
So I think it's just meant to be, here's something to facilitate some fun. 5e in general,
Yeah, from my understanding, I remember watching a video. Unfortunately, I didn't catch all of it. But from my basic understanding of how Saltmarsh is supposed to operate, is similar to Tales from the Yawning Portal, where here's a bunch of different mini adventures that you could send your players on, especially since it's more nautical focused,
more
maritime focused.
The original release of that, I think, were 3 different adventure modules. I ran this a long
I bet you
time. I think I was in high school. It was, oh my gosh. So that was the first adventure module I ever ran where I discovered that, hey, sometimes your players buy the module and read it. That's a whole other show, I think.
Oh, man.
Anyway, yeah, Saltmarsh, I think that's going to wind up being great. Like you say, you know, it's going to be a little more maritime. It's going to have some, probably some piratey goodness, maybe.
Yeah, I am still trying. I am still in the process of gathering ideas for my own adventure I'd like to do, which is more Greek focused. I guess more Greek oriented.
You should read some John Harper.
Yes, I like Greek mythology, but it would in fact be kind of centralized, more nautical, because they'd be adventuring to different islands and sailing to different islands.
Right.
Whatnot.
I have had this itch. I wrote one. I wrote a 200-word RPG that was all about seaborne travel. It was called Seaborne. But I keep having this desire to write a fuller RPG that's just all about, you know, golden age of sail kind of stuff, piratey kind of stuff.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
And there's just something about that, like the classic ninja pirates argument, right? I've always said I'm a ninja. But apparently,
the pirates are
I really like pirates.
The pirates
right?
are really cool.
They have the best boats for sure. So that kind of wanders us on to maybe some game design stuff. We want to talk about that today, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Talked about some great products coming out. We know that some of you guys are probably interested in writing your own stuff. I do a little bit of that. I think J-Bar probably does a little bit of that.
I do a little bit of it.
A little bit of that. Is there a particular reason you think that people are drawn to kind of writing their own stuff and they look a little closer, not just at adventure writing, but game design in general?
When it would come to, at least when it would come to adventure writing, at least for me, it's always like, I always want to envision myself within the plot line of a story that I've read or a movie I watched. You know, for example, Lord of the Rings. You know, just I think it'd be cool for my D&D character to be in Battle for Pelennor Field. That sounds awesome.
I've heard you say this before.
Yes, yeah. But when it comes to game design, I know for me in particular, I always just look at different. I look at different RPGs and kind of compare them when it comes to the mechanic. When it comes to just their base mechanics.
Sure.
For example, I remember the first time I played Dungeon Crawl Classics. And, you know, just blew my mind. It was like, I'm rolling 3d6 from all my stats, and I rolled a 3 on my strength.
Yeah.
And I'm stuck with it, and it was just fun. You know, and different games, based off of how they're designed, make you, I guess, value more things over other things.
Yeah, it definitely kind of flavors the whole experience, right?
Yes, definitely.
You know, horror games will frequently engage a certain set of mechanics that kind of really ramp up the tension in a game. I think PBTA's Powered by the Apocalypse games do this really well.
Yeah, focused on stress or affliction, and it all creates drama, which is half the reason I play the game.
Yeah.
I like the drama.
Yeah, there's you get a different feel from each one. D20 for me always has this kind of nostalgic place in my heart. It definitely facilitates a certain kind of game, usually a kind of simulationist, gamist experience. You know, you're all worried about packing the exact items you need for things and going off on an adventure. And I don't know, there's just something that, you know, feels very, it's fun. You know, it's fun.
Yeah.
And you know, different RPGs will ignore that completely. Like there are RPGs out there. I actually, usually in my RPG designs, it doesn't pay a lot of attention to what you write as equipment on your character. It says when you need something, you can make a roll and see if you have it.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of RPGs that do this kind of thing. But there's definitely something to, you know, picking equipment and forgetting something and being left at a spot.
Yeah. You're
resource management, different kind of resource management.
You're at a cliff and you forgot to bring climbing gear or something like that. And you know, if you were actually an adventurer in a fantasy world, or you know, whatever world, if you knew exactly where you were going, you were prepared for it.
Right.
You know, it's like us simply going to work. We're going to bring the things we need to go to work.
Right.
That makes sense.
And this is an important part of game design in general, right? Is your players are not, well, not always, usually not going to be playing themselves.
Yeah.
So you have this kind of cognitive dissonance, between yourself and what you're actually playing.
Sort of disconnect.
Right. And game design needs to take this into account. Because it's going to really determine the experience of the GMs and the players, once they start engaging with that game. So for me, that's kind of the start of, if I'm thinking about writing a game, is kind of where I begin, is what kind of experience do I want people to have that's going to color the types of characters that go into it and the mechanics that are used to create those characters and that they'll actually use in game. So those are all important ideas.
See, it's interesting that earlier you brought up the point of the PBTA games that Powered by the Apocalypse games that have their pack on their back and your where's my thieves tools. You roll to see if you have it.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that I know another RPG that does something similar to that is the Star Wars role-playing game.
Yeah.
They have something called Destiny Points, and if you have a Destiny...
This is Fantasy Flight.
Yeah, this is Fantasy Flight role-playing game. They have a resource called Destiny Points, and if you have a Destiny Point, you're able to expend a Destiny Point to Deus Ex Machina a certain situation that you're in, such as this door in front of me is sealed shut because I goofed on a wall.
All right.
And you can use a Destiny Point and Deus Ex Machina that normal stormtrooper walks in the other side of the room, you shoot him, guess what? He suddenly has a key card that allows you to go through the locked door. You're able to do exactly that. Find a way to get through a situation that has occurred.
Right, and there are games that do this with everything from clues, finding clues, to resources, like you say, that you need in particular situations and things you pack. There's just such a plethora of options out there. Well, I think we have reached the limit of our time today and probably gone over a little more.
That's okay.
Once again, if you're interested in sponsoring Briefings for the Descent and having us show off your product, please message us on our Facebook group or send us an email at Excelsior, EXCELSIOR 3150 @gmail.com. Or if you have comments and suggestions, stuff you would like us to talk about, just message us on our Facebook group, Briefings for the Descent. And we'll see you next time, guys.